Hello, everybody, and welcome to Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal. I'm one of the hosts, Carl, and sitting beside me is my co host, Denise, and Ron will be in shortly. I'm sure he's out on his walk.
No, he's just in the kitchen.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's getting a noisy drink.
Oh, did he get done with his
that
walk?
looks bad, but his shaker drink. So, because he had, last night during my show, you got to hear him count coins, shake his drink, and so that's his protein shake. He has to have that. So
that's good. That's good.
As long as he's happy, it's all matters.
So tonight we'll see if your shirt changes colors in this show.
Yeah, that was just kind of odd that it went from bright blue to teal to green. And I'm like, I've had that shirt for 15 years. I've never seen it do that before.
No, and we see your lights go light and dim back and forth all the time, but we understand that the camera's trying to focus on you and your pale skin.
Yeah.
Every time you move, it's got to refocus. We understand that, but that shirt changing colors last night, that was something different.
It's about the color of the basket behind me over there.
Yeah.
So it's that color. So I don't know why it did that. But yeah, my lights here, they don't change. It's just the camera. Mm-hmm. So, because I can sit here and watch, and the only lights that ever change in my room is when the air conditioner comes on, and then it's the overhead light, not these here.
Right.
I don't know.
And that camera is built into your computer, right?
Yeah. And even if I had an external camera, it would probably do the same thing. Because I'm Indian white.
Yeah, you are.
Native American white. And apparently I got more white than Native American.
Have you ever suntanned?
Oh, yeah. Used to all the time. Guess what? There's such a thing as skin cancer. So
I know, but
I rode in the back of a truck on a lawn chair in a swimsuit between Baltimore and Richmond, Virginia when I was growing up. Things you can't do now.
Those were the good days.
The truckers liked it.
Oh, yeah.
If they had only known I was 14 years old, they probably would have.
They probably even liked it even a lot better than that,
Some of them might have, yeah.
Yeah,
But yet my mom let us do it. So, it is strange the things that we used to do that we don't do now. And, sticking a fork in the easy bake oven to push the cake through. And, toys were much more dangerous back then than they are now.
Right.
So.
Okay. And people, we have a guest coming on, but I've got to go to the door real quick. I'll be right back. So if you want to introduce Brandon and bring him up, go ahead.
Sure, I can do that. Our guest tonight is Brandon. Well, let me get him here. Brandon Cooper. He is with Supernatural Inc. He's associated with Katie and Katie Stafford. So some of you guys know them from my show, and Katie from Ghosts of Morgan City and Ghosts of Devil's Perch. So what's your claim to fame there, Mr. Brandon?
The fact that Katie actually let me out of my cage.
Oh. Well, once he finds out you've been hanging out with me, he may lock you back in.
There's no telling. Oh, no, I'm actually a shaman. Oh, so, and I have a show starting on this network starting Sunday at 8 Eastern.
Oh, so you guys hear that? 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, brand new show. What's it called?
It's going to be called Shaman Sundays.
Okay, there you go. So maybe you can get people not to watch football.
I'm good, but I'm not that good.
So thank you, Nigel. Good night. You have a great sleep and catch the replay tomorrow, please. So hello, Tom, and hey, Dara. So we've got a few people here listening tonight, which is great. And if you guys have any questions for Brandon, please make sure you ask them. We'll make sure we get them asked and answered. And so how did you become a shaman?
Well, I actually grew up on the Cherokee Reservation in North Carolina, and I was just kind of groomed from a little child. That's kind of our family path. And
Okay.
um, as I got older, I explored uh, different tribes. Like I now work with the Hopi Nation and Second Mesa, Arizona, and I work obviously with the Eastern Band of Cherokee Nation. So it was just kind of, I don't know, I was just always raised to kind of be a healer, and we
Did
really go ahead.
Did you ever know Coyote Chris Sutton?
I've heard that name several times, but I do not think I've ever met him in person.
Too bad you won't. He passed, but you remind me of him.
I've heard that before. Recently, as a matter of fact.
I knew Chris from McPike Mansion. We were volunteers there together.
Okay. See, I have
So
not been to that location yet.
it's in Alton, Illinois. I mean, it's a little bit of ways from you. It's still over 300 miles from here. So, um, but it's an interesting place. But you'll probably Ron will probably notice that you probably remind him of Chris too.
Does he know? Did he know Chris?
No, he just recently heard that he looks like
He's
Chris.
in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. And so, what do you do for these other? Well, what do you do as a shaman?
I focus on healing. Uh, some people call it light healer, uh, but I I'm sort of the spiritual guide, the healer. I deal in herbal remedies. I'm kind of like the one-stop old school shop, I guess it would be.
So, oh yeah, now see, Tom McNicholas is saying the same thing. He says it's uncanny. He sees how you look like Coyote Chris. So there's a lot of people in the chat room who knew Chris, and so don't be surprised and take it as a wonderful compliment.
He does. Oh my gosh! Yeah.
So this is Ron, since you haven't met him yet.
Hey Ron, how are
Yeah.
you?
But
Good. How
it
you
is
doing?
it is
All
a
right.
wonderful compliment to be associated with Chris. He had a good heart.
Politics suck, but
Well, a lot of people's politics suck. So, and I saw that you're an advocate for veterans. How do you advocate for veterans?
I work for two nonprofits here in South Carolina. One is called Veterans Haven of Honor. It's a transitional housing for homeless vets to get back on their feet. Quick side note: I'm a 100% disabled combat veteran. I was in the Marine Corps. So,
Thank you for your service.
oh, thank you. At one point, I was that homeless veteran, and if it wasn't for transitional housing, I wouldn't be here. I could say without a doubt, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So now that circumstances have changed, it's my turn to get back.
That is excellent.
And all the other nonprofit is Semper Fi Barn, which is sort of a veterans type weekend getaway. It's just a place to decompress and refocus from the hectic daily lives, especially with people with PTSD. So it's a good place. It's out in the woods, good quiet place just to relax and refocus. So
Hey,
I'm pretty excited about those two.
well, that's good.
we got all the branches covered.
Have
Carl
to,
Army,
except for
the
Space
Marine.
Force.
Huh?
Well, except for Space Force, we don't.
I'm
have
Air
it.
Force.
Space.
Oh,
Space
there you
Force.
go.
Yeah, well, I forgot about. I
Hey.
forgot about that. I think they got rid of that
I
about
guess
a year
tech-
and a half ago.
I guess technically we have a Space Force person. My cousin, who works for NASA,
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. We all the
April-
bases covered.
April and her husband are in Navy
Mhm.
in our chat.
So, needless to say, we got a lot of veterans within our listening range. So, how would somebody donate to the charities that you work for?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I have to set up. I have a Square. What's that called? Not a URL. What's the thing where you take your camera, you take a picture of the thing, and it pops up on your phone?
The QR code.
Yeah, QR code. I
Okay.
can send those out if people would like to reach me and donate. They can reach me at shamansundays@gmail.com.
Okay, let's type that in here.
Oh,
We're
I haven't
called-
gotten our website and stuff set up yet. I'm still working on it, but
Hey, Ruth.
that would be the easiest way.
At Gmail.
Tom. April.
And
Jeffrey.
if you want to take your QR code and put it on your computer, then you can share your monitor, your
right?
other monitor. Yeah, you can share your monitor, and then they can see it on the screen, and they can scan it with their phones right now.
Okay, let me see if I can pull that up.
So, but you can worry about that during the time, or when you make your show background, you can make sure that it's in there somewhere.
Well, thank you. I didn't think about that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you start Sunday, right?
I do Sunday at 7:00 y'all's time.
So can't wait to see it. If I'm around to see it, I'm always running around with the kids on the weekend. So, but we'll make sure that we catch the replays. Are you going to be on YouTube as well, or just on Facebook?
I think we're going to link it to the Supernatural Inc. YouTube
Perfect.
and the Supernatural Inc. page. And from there, I don't know where it's going to go. But I do know for a fact it'll be on those two.
Perfect. Because that will save a lot of stress for people who don't do Facebook. He's one.
Well, I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
I don't either. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be on there if it wasn't for the show.
Yeah.
My mom's the one who asked me to join years ago, and so it's not really worth it to me sometimes. But you know what? If it wasn't for Facebook, I wouldn't know great people like you and Carl and Dare. Well, Dare I would have met in person because I did.
At McKinney, Texas.
So, hello from Kyle. Hello, Kyle.
Yeah. Hi, Kyle.
So, and let's see. So, how did you get involved with Katie and Katie?
That's a very funny story.
I figured it was.
Yeah, so I was watching Ghosts of Morgan City, and I've always kind of been into the tech side, and so I saw it, and then I became a fan of KD's, so I started stalking him on Facebook.
I hear he likes that.
Oh, he does. He just he likes the attention. So just by some happenstance, he happened to message me back, and then we just got in a conversation. We're both from South Carolina.
Right.
He's actually where his hometown is 30 minutes from mine.
Mm-hmm.
So then we started talking there. Then we found out that we were both disabled combat veterans, and kind of struck up a friendship, a bromance, if you will. And
he's pretty easy to get along with.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And now it's been almost 5 years, and I got lucky enough to they invited me to be part of the team about 3.5 years ago, and the rest is kind of history. Now I'm out there in the Kansas City area about 4 times a year, and we're rocking it.
Well, you need to let us know the next time you're in town. Tell Katie and Katie, hey, let Denise and Ron know we're here, and we'll come up because we live south of Kansas City. I mean, when I say south, it's Well, from Smithville,
We're-
we're like 40 minutes, 50 minutes
A
from
little
Smithville.
about an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not too far. So, and we're more than willing to see people if they come into town. You know, you drive that far, fly that far, we'll come up. It's not too far for us. So,
Well, that sounds great. I'd definitely like to meet your husband, and maybe is that right? Or is that a good thing? Meeting your
Yeah.
husband? Okay, good.
yeah, we've been married 38 years. So
That's wonderful.
I don't know how.
I don't either.
I'm never home.
Maybe that's the secret right there. You're
I
never
think
home.
it is.
I mean, for the first years of our married life, he was never home, or he worked nights. And now I'm home all the time during the day, and I'm gone half the weekend.
Yeah, all weekend.
So, well, yeah, I'm gone usually Fridays or Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, I think we just cracked the code of a happy marriage. Never come home.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
Who knows?
So
Stay away.
I wish I'd have done that when it was time to get pregnant.
Oh no.
At least one of those times. But no, I love those grandkids more than anything. And I don't know what I'd do without them. So
How about you, Brandon? You married?
I am. And as a matter of fact, my wife is the 4th team member of Supernatural Inc. She is a psychic medium. I know it's kind of weird how things worked out. They usually say 3rd time's the charm, but on mine, this is the 2nd go round, and I found my soulmate, so I'm good.
oh, that's good.
Don't ask me when the anniversary is. I have no idea.
Ours is Memorial Day weekend.
See,
As long
I
as-
kind of wish
long
we'd
as
have done a holiday.
Well, we did it. We planned it around a holiday because we always wanted to have that weekend if we needed it. And I don't know why I'm skipping.
You're skipping
Mhm.
work?
No. I'm
Oh,
on
you're
here.
skipping?
So I just shut down some stuff. And maybe it'll help. So I'm going to pop out and pop right back in. See if it
Okay.
helps.
Where's Carl?
Okay.
Here.
Carl went to answer the door.
Went to answer the door? The Jehovah's
Eh.
Witness?
Jehovah's Witness, Girl Scout, Boy Scouts.
He's been gone a while.
We didn't hear any gunshots.
Strippers?
I don't
Whoa.
see that it's
Whoa.
They come to their house?
in Gallatin.
Yeah.
I would question
Never know.
the quality in Gallatin.
Well, I mean, with inflation rates, times are
Yeah.
tough.
I mean, that's kind of expensive. I mean, gas is still kind of high. So, in fact,
Yep.
we drove down to Florida and gas was higher in Missouri than it was anywhere else along the way.
Yeah, I noticed that last time I was out there. KD did his premiere showing of Ghost of Devil's Perch, and I was out there, and I noticed gas was kind of ridiculous.
Well, that's when we were gone.
Yeah.
That's when we went to Florida
Yeah, they passed a special gas tax.
in Missouri, trying to make it as high as
Now they're
Kansas.
one of the highest. Used to be one of the cheapest states.
We used to drive, when we were in Missouri, we'd get gas before we got home just to save money. It's 3 cents right now. It's currently 3 cents higher in Missouri than it is in Kansas.
Wow.
I mean, 3 cents isn't a lot, but we always knew things were higher in Kansas, and now it's not. So, okay. So, just looking at the private chat, make sure I wasn't missing anything. So, so you came out for the premiere. How was it?
Well, if you hear KD say it was a disaster. However, it was pretty good. We did have internet issues, so everybody that came out, we watched half the episode, and then the internet went out.
Oh, man.
But
Was there a storm or anything?
No, but we were in an old bank building, and the signal was just kind of. It wasn't very strong.
Was the
And we
bank
had
brick?
yes,
Okay, so meant the Wi-Fi signal was not great.
right. And then the laptop that we were watching it on, just completely shut down. So
maybe something didn't want you to watch it.
Well, it is called Supernatural Inc.
Well, I don't, but usually we try not to bring anything with us.
That doesn't mean that somebody else didn't.
That's true.
How many people were there?
I would say we probably had 20 to 25 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
Katie,
even
Katie both sent me messages.
Yeah, we would have been up there.
And kept saying, you're invited. And I'm like, I assumed I was.
We were in Florida.
But, we had that family stuff first. And so, but we are planning on coming to the finale one.
On
in
October 9th.
October 9th.
That's if they made it, right?
Well, I mean, I don't even know.
That's right after they made it.
Find out that they lived.
I don't know if Katie made it out, or not. I haven't found out yet. He won't tell me.
What's bad is that we have an event October 7th and 8th that we're going to in Joplin.
Yeah, we say we're going to all these things. We haven't made nothing yet.
This one I'm going to make.
Right. Dead or alive?
Dead or alive. I'm going to haunt David to my dying day.
We can embalm you and bring you.
Or you could just talk through one of the ink boxes. That'd be fun.
Do that. That'd be even cooler.
For you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to make sure you're haunted really well.
Yep.
Where none of those women will come around you. Like I said, you can tell we've been married a while.
It's fun it's fun to watch. I'm okay with it.
We've been together since I was 17. So it's
70.
I always say that I met him 2 weeks before I turned 18.
That might have been 2 hours before you were 18.
No.
When you met me, it wasn't the meat like you think.
But I was still 17. So
and at the time I didn't care. I could care less.
Yeah. I was still legal in Arkansas.
No, I mean I had no interest in it.
So
I do being in South Carolina, I get it.
So well, we've been together. It's the way it's going to be. So, hey, Jeremy, how are you? So, we haven't watched the full episode yet.
We just started watching the first tonight.
My daughter watched it down in Florida, and she said she really liked it. Carl said that he loved it, and so we're pretty sure we're going to like it. So far, my only feedback is I think the timing for Butte was not good since the other show was there at the same time. That was the only thing. And that's not up to them. And
that wasn't too far away,
huh? It was right there.
Oh, the same town?
Same area.
Well, Anaconda is probably, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes if traffic's bad.
Yeah, I knew it was close.
Well, when
they were staying at the same hotel.
When they're talking about it being haunted, how much of this is related to the fact that there's a ghost town right outside of town?
Exactly.
So, but you know what? I don't care. I just, as long as it's got good content, that's what matters.
And it's very good content.
So, and I
like the people in it.
Yeah, I'm still iffy on that one guy, but Cindy's amazing.
Oh, which one guy? KD or
KD? Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely that guy. You gotta watch
Dave Schrader.
Dave, I like.
Dave, I like. I'm friends with his cousin in Chicago. So Ursula. So is another friend of ours in here. So
Can you see the chat, Brandon?
So Brandon, what part of South Carolina are you from?
I
You currently live?
actually I actually live in Easley, right
Oh,
outside of Greenville.
I see that you answered. So
Yeah, I did.
So there you go. Hopefully it's not too far from you, Lorna.
No, that's not terrible. Greenwood, probably
Said
45 minutes.
She lived in Greenwood.
Oh, she used to live there. She doesn't
I
live there
think
now.
Lorna's in Florida.
Barbara is. So I don't know where Lorna is.
Well, sorry for stepping out, but I had to talk to a gentleman out there.
Well, you're not bleeding, so.
Did you?
No, it was a good conversation. I just got 600 acres to deer hunt on.
Oh,
all right.
Nice.
Yeah. And pictures that he showed me were taken off there in the last 5 years. The lowest one was a giant 10-pointer.
So because I told Ron goes, where are you at? And I said, well, he's at the door, and he goes, Jehovah's Witness. I said, Boy Scout or Girl Scout even.
No, if it'd been Jehovah Witness, you would have heard me.
I told him, I said I hadn't heard any gunshots, so it's not too bad.
Right.
So,
Now, this gentleman, he's a handicapped gentleman. Vincent sent him over, and he lost an arm in a car wreck a few years ago. So I'm going to have him. He wants to learn how to shoot a crossbow, which I have 2 of them and everything. And I've got the recurve set up with a monopod on it to where it can stick down and he can control it with one arm.
okay.
So but yeah, 600 acres up there. He's already got the deer stands up there on the farm. Everything's already set up. So yeah, I'm happy about that now.
You just have to get up early.
So
I do that all the time.
So it's going to be the ghost of the deer farm.
Yeah, it will be. Well, this year, hopefully I get a buck that's a buck and not a transgender buck.
You had to use both.
Brandon, I shot one last year, an 8-point buck. Right?
Yep.
And
I got down there. He wasn't all 8-point buck. He had complete parts of both genders.
Wow.
I wonder how much that is from radiation.
I wonder how much of that is from inbred on ranches where deers are at, because you don't have a new deer herd come in.
Maybe it signed off on the surgery.
Maybe the deer was hanging out in California.
It could have been. Well, what was worse was I seen a little bitty doe and a little bitty buck come out.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, this buck was he was a 3-pointer. He had 2 on one side, right? And everything. And I'm sitting there and they're about 100 yards off. And then I see these 4 does come out and this buck come out. And I'm going, okay, is he back there shooting blanks?
Right.
Or was the little buck back there trying it? But when I shot him, I didn't know he was transgender. He was a nice 200-pound 8-point buck. We got down there, me and Scott and everything, and we drug him up in the field a little ways where we was going to gut him out. And I flipped him on his back and I went, hold it. We got problems here. He goes, what? He come over and looked. Of course, they had the male parts there. It had the udder with the tits on it, right?
Right.
And everything. So I look back behind going, buck should only have 1 outie, right? He had an outie and an innie. And I was like, oh, I got to take my time and film this when I'm cutting it open. I want to see if this thing's got ovaries and a uterus and all this inside of it.
Yeah.
And it did.
So this was a hermaphrodite. And so did you have to use 2 tags, one for male and one for female?
No, that's where the any deer permit came in.
Yeah.
It's a legal permit, any deer. But no, I mean And this wasn't a young deer. Deer was about 4 years old.
Yeah.
Now, does that fall under the Boone and Crockett scale, or I mean, how do you rate that deer?
I asked the conservation agent when I called him and told him about it and showed him the pictures and everything. And he goes, I don't know how you list that. I said, I know how I list it because you got them listed now as antlered or antlerless.
Yeah.
He had antlers. It had antlers on its head.
Yeah.
See, all this started years ago when they changed it from buck and doe to antlered to antlerless. Is went up by Rockport. Somebody shot a real nice 10-point. It was a doe with antlers on it.
Okay, so they have taken sex or male or female out of deer hunting.
Yeah.
So which deer got offended? The male or the female?
I would say the male got offended because he's always been known as the buck with the antlers. When you get a doe with antlers, they got to go, oh, now you're an any deer.
Well, no, it was probably a doe that had a bigger rack than the buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Or she had more balls than he did?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was Rudolph doing all the complaining because they always making fun of him, you know.
Yeah, but
And
see,
he just got tired of
back then the issue was because back then it was buck or doe. So when this guy shot it and he contacted the conservation, it's a doe's body, but it had the antlers on it. And he goes, which way do we tag this? Am I illegal or legal? And conservation guy had to contact Jefferson City to find out.
Wow.
And they said you're legal because even with the best scope, you're looking at the head and right behind the front leg. You're not looking at other parts of the deer to shoot.
Yeah, you can only look at the head. And maybe from behind, if you see something hanging, you
better do some checking before you shoot it.
got
Yeah,
to
well,
lift the tail
yeah.
up now.
You know, that's just like the rule here. You
gotta get really close.
Right. To have an antlerless tag, it has to have an antler less than 3 inches long. Is that deer going to stand there long enough for me to go measure it? No.
It's like when you catch crabs, they have to be at least 5 inches long, which is about this big. But how often is that crab going to sit still long enough for you to check to see if it's 5 inches? Same problem.
Yeah. And Luke, we know I'm not going to hit it with a 20 millimeter. Your father-in-law did that to a hog, and we know what was left of it. The head. That was it.
Pink mist.
What good does that do you?
It made him $2,000. They had a bounty out on that hog.
Then I do it.
I meant to eat it.
Oh, to eat it? Yeah, you ain't going to get nothing out of it.
Nah.
Yeah, good thing it wasn't a horse. Yeah, it would have exploded everywhere.
Oh. Well, congratulations on that, and look forward to some good deer later on in the year.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got a pretty bull right here still that I've been eating on. But,
well, my deep freezer's empty. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, well.
And I got a new air fryer that dehydrates.
We'll have to get you up here to go hunting.
When and where? I'm there.
A little billboard up here. Brandon's freezer is empty, and have it run across.
And make a QR code with your
Well, what you got to do, Brandon, is
Right.
you have to get with KD and Katie and set your address up where they live at, because you sure don't want to buy a deer tag out of state.
Depends on what meat it is.
Well,
I don't know.
see, I don't have to worry about that. Being 100% disabled veteran, generally, you can hunt for free anywhere.
Not in Missouri.
Imagine that.
You have to buy the deer tag. Now you can hunt rabbit, squirrel, all that free. But as far deer hunting is the money making business in this state.
Makes sense.
That and quilts.
Quilt.
Yeah. Did you
Okay.
see that on? Oh, you haven't seen. Well, you don't have Missouri Star Quilt on your Facebook page.
No.
Andy Reid's wife is coming to Hamilton, Missouri, to the Missouri Star Quilt factory up there.
Why?
And I was like, well, I ain't going to be there.
I mean, why?
Because
Missouri Star.
the Reeds are famous here from the Kansas City Chiefs, and Missouri Star Quilt. Carl, tell him.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's got ties to.
Yeah, I got to
you.
see how to explain this. We'll go back to 1836.
Okay.
Caldwell County, which is the county right below me where I used to live at, okay, was created and given to the Mormons.
Okay.
In 1838, 2 years later, the governor of the state of Missouri issued an executive order to exterminate all Mormons out of Caldwell County.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were killing and robbing the local farmers that were already in that area when they created the county. We're in the area where the Mormon wars were at.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That law was on the books until 1975. And the only reason it got off the books, when I say exterminate, you could buy their property or you were within your legal rights to shoot and kill them. Okay?
Okay.
In 1975, Brigham Young University was going to play MU, but they couldn't. Because if they drove that bus in here legally, they could all been shot. So Kit Bond rescinded the order. But their famous saying words when they left Caldwell County is, "We will be back with a vengeance." Okay?
Okay.
Now we get to Missouri Star Quilt. It's a Mormon-owned company.
Okay.
They own the entire town of Hamilton now, which is the home to J.C. Penney's.
Okay. Okay.
How many stores does it take to sell quilts in one little town of 1,800 people?
Like what? One, maybe two?
Try 12 in a gigantic factory.
It must get really cold there or something. I'm not putting two and two together here.
This company is worth $700 million.
They sell this stuff all over the world.
Online.
They have visitors come in
higher
from
than
all over the
crap.
world in buses.
Have you seen the prices of this stuff? They ain't sell. Most of the stuff is not even put together.
Right.
You have to do
You
it.
have to sew it yourself.
No.
It's just
No, thanks.
pieces, and it's expensive as crap.
But anyway, the reason I have a hard time with Missouri Star Quilt is they don't do anything in that town for the local people. Everything is made for outside people coming in.
Right.
The city does the streets up and the sidewalks real fancy now because Missouri Star Quilt owns the buildings. You see where I'm going with this now?
Yeah.
They also
I have a very
out
bad
of the
taste in my mouth on that because we were living down there in an apartment
Yeah.
and she sold it. And as soon as she sold it, they came up and said, "You got 30 days, move."
See, you wouldn't want to be ya.
Nah.
Nah. So I have a very hard time with it and everything because they've got one of the best. And the worst part about it, they got the old elementary school, which is haunted down there, but they won't let us investigate it.
Because they don't believe in.
No.
Now it's
I gotta step away real quick. I'll be right back.
okay. Now it's the Missouri Quilt Museum. So
Is it really?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody that's went there has said, "Thank you, Travis." Said it. They've heard stuff and seen stuff in that building.
Why would the elementary be haunted? I mean, I don't know why a lot of schools would be haunted.
Was
It
it at one
depended
time?
on what the teachers did to the students in there.
Huh.
I would say.
Or maybe other kids bullied other kids and
Well, who's to say
Well,
the children in there, some of them died at a young age because this is an old school.
maybe.
Maybe they felt comfortable there.
Well, maybe a lot of those are ex-teachers that just really like their job.
Or
I
hated
mean,
it
it'd be
enough
hard
they
to
wanted to
believe
scare
nowadays.
everybody.
But I had
Or-
teachers. I actually think they actually loved what they were doing, because back then they didn't pay them crap.
No, they didn't. They still don't.
They just like to teach.
Was the elementary school at one time like a one, not one room school, but all grades in one?
Yeah.
So yeah, you could have had the
And if I'm not
teenagers.
mistaken, it also was a college at one time.
Did the guy that got killed in the car accident, did he go to school there? The one that you witnessed? Or did you go to school there?
Could have.
Oh, Travis says they won't donate to organizations in our area either.
They don't.
Trying to get
they're not.
donated.
See, and the worst part about it was when they bought that apartment building where we lived at, they turned it into a gigantic motel and built another building in the parking lot for all these buses. If you remember, our church was right across the street.
Right.
You know how many buses I got in trouble for turning around in our driveway and sinking in the gravel and getting stuck?
Probably more than we can even count.
Oh, yeah. 2 bus companies really didn't like me. I said, I see one of your buses here again, I'll flatten every tire on it. Because all they do is they turn around in there and mess it up. The guy that bought it, they turned it back into the shop, he's having the same problem.
Well, you know what? Some big rocks will take care of that.
No, cables across the driveway take care of it. And the security cameras that I set out and took care of it.
April, I haven't had any time to focus on
What's she
your
talking
stuff.
about?
She sent me a message, and
Alien visitor at her house.
Mm-hmm. So I haven't had any time to focus on it to give her anything.
Don't think we. I don't know.
I don't think it was an alien.
Right.
I think it was a spirit that was showing itself as an alien. Easier to get acceptance that way.
So, Brandon.
Really?
Yes, sir.
For our listeners out there, and I know you're going to explain this on your new show starting Sunday. How did you become a shaman?
I asked him that earlier.
Okay, well, I wasn't here, so
I know you weren't.
Okay, we'll save that for Sunday then. But
I kept the show going while you were.
I
You were
know
getting 600 acres. You were busy getting 600 acres.
hey, that's all right. I know Denise would and stuff, but let's see what else. I don't know what you asked him, so I don't know what else.
I know, but it was really good, and I think that when you listen on Sunday, you will really enjoy it. So,
Well, it's like I told Brandon. There's only one other shaman that I knew, and that was Coyote Chris. I'd met him twice. And I don't know nothing about shamans.
Sandy?
Nothing at all.
yeah, Sandy Little Lizard is a shaman.
Yeah, Sandy and Chris that's only 2 we knew.
Right.
And
So this is going to be a real good learning experience for me too, listening to his show.
So what is the difference between a shaman, a medium, and a psychic?
I guess it would be the way that we approach things. I come from more of a nature standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can hear things on the wind, trees talk, things like that. So from a shaman standpoint, it's all nature related. Is how I receive my information.
But do you hear a lot more Native American spirits talking than
I do.
you do regular, what we would call regular spirits?
I do. And my spirit guides are native. They're my ancestors. Um, and I'm really good at finding lost burial mounds because it gets a whole lot louder when I get near. And I found a couple.
Oh man,
we put you to work.
If I'd known
we
that,
got lots. We got lots for you.
So
if I'd known that night I met you down there in Smithville, we would have got you up here the next day to our cemetery.
So
there's lots of mounds up there.
Here's the question, though. Do you remote view mounds? Or do you have to be there in person?
I'm going to answer that with a yes and no. I don't exactly remote view. Like I can't go to where, like if I put I can't say, okay, I want to go look at Kansas City.
So, now, I mean, if we share the location with you,
I mean,
through video,
we can. What we talked about.
Yeah, then I can do that.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, yeah, I can do that.
You would be able to see stuff through the camera.
Yep.
Okay, because we talked about that because we know they're going to be at Ashmore this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Katie and
Katie.
Yeah, Brandon's part of their team. So what we do is, just like we did you guys at the Paranormal Giving Tree, Brandon's going to do it with them up at Ashmore.
You're going to Ashmore too?
No, virtually. Oh. I'll do it virtually.
He'll do it virtual.
Yeah.
No, I can't get back up there that
well, I know, Carl, we talked yesterday a little bit about, and we were supposed to have a camp out at McPike. And we have some listeners that go to that camp out. And instead we're going to have a big camp out because of my niece's wedding and that.
Yeah.
And we got a lot more people coming into town that we didn't know were coming before.
Right.
Well, they actually weren't coming, but they are now.
Including our kids.
So we're going to be with our family the whole weekend. Or the wedding's on Friday, so it's going to be, a whole family reunion basically.
Again.
Right.
Again. But anyway, we talked about it yesterday. We thought since we can't really do that camp out, we're going to have a big camp out up there at Cox Cemetery.
Right.
And everybody that was, was wanting to go to the McPike, we'll do the Cox Cemetery instead. It'll also be a new location because everyone that's been to McPike, they haven't been to this place.
Right. They haven't been out there.
Yeah, this is be all new. And it'll be a camp out. It'll be a little rougher camp out maybe.
Well, I'm just hoping that I'm better enough.
Which is fine with me. It's not
right.
A big deal.
Yeah, Denise, I hope you get to feeling a lot better.
I just need to know what they can't.
But we're thinking early November is when we're looking at.
Do we have
enough time? Goes if you bring Twinkies and RC Cola and a can of red spray paint. Why do you want the red spray paint?
Right.
Is he going to become Indian?
I could show up.
Maybe for the drop point, make a big target.
Oh, he's got to draw the line for JFK.
From JFK to there.
Yeah. That's a good private joke.
He loves his Twinkies.
And he hates the red line as you come into JFK because he had to sit there for 24 hours.
No. Okay. Yeah, no.
Well, he's a U.S. citizen. They didn't have him in the computer. They would not let him cross the red line. They
make a movie
all the way
about
back to Wales.
We told him come in through the southern border.
He goes, what happens if I step across that red line? We have to arrest you for illegally entering the country. And we've been telling him all along, go to Mexico.
Yeah.
You come through there, you're free.
Yeah,
Susan,
just
get a
walk around.
crossbow. I'm an American
How you
citizen.
doing?
They'd probably shoot him.
They probably would.
Or walk across to Kiro Taco Bell. You know,
But no,
Ooh,
I
Taco
mean-
Bell sounds good.
it's ridiculous.
where's your Taco Bell?
So when you go on when you go on an investigation with task force, right, and stuff, how do they utilize your gifts? Do they utilize it like we utilize a medium?
No.
To be honest, what I've noticed with Greg and them is they're not really.
No, they don't.
I've never noticed them actually use
I
a
haven't
medium
either.
or a psychic. And I mean, I've known Greg how long?
For quite a while.
I can't even tell you how long.
I don't
I've never
remember
e-
them bringing one or having one or ever.
Mm-mm.
I mean, they might have, but I'd never seen them. I didn't even remember them talking about it.
Like when I go with KD and Katie, I get to just be the paranormal investigator. And if I pick up on something, then I say, I'll say something. But
okay.
as far as getting utilized, like, okay, Brandon, well, we need you to go read the room. We don't do that. We just we all are on the same plane as far as we start at our investigation. We're all the investigators.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and then, like I said, if something comes up, like I picked up on something in Pythian down in the interrogation room.
Yeah.
And so what I would do is I would call KD and say, hey man, come down here. There's something in here. And
Which interrogation room? The one with the chair or the one without?
the one with the chair.
Yeah, with the chair.
Because the other one is one too.
Yep.
I got attacked in that room, the room next to that. On the other. So not when you go in and you got the room here and then the interrogation room here.
Room with no
It's
windows.
the next room next door to it. So when you walk up, you go this way or this way.
Yep.
I was in the other
Fucking
room when I got attacked.
Is that the one that they keep the gate across?
Yeah, most of the time.
I went in there and did the Estes method. Oh, last time I was there, we got some pretty good footage. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that's kind of how we work it.
Right.
If I pick up on something, then I'll get the team down there, and then we let the ink box and everything do its work. I like staying in the background. Oh, hey, there you go.
Yeah.
There's the ink box.
You know who won it from David's? So David had the auction for that.
Right.
Or not the auction, the raffle. Susan and Mike won it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So my friends won that.
Oh, awesome.
So they're all excited so that they can use that when we go down there.
Yeah, we saw
to
that.
Joplin. And
I'll tell you,
We
Katie
saw that
did.
in action when we went up to McIntyrville.
I'm really
Yeah, I
impressed
like it. I
with
like it.
this because everybody thinks of it as a spirit box radio,
No.
right? It don't do the.
Nah, it don't drive you nuts. No,
It's got a little bit of that in it, but
not
no.
much.
And I mean, comparing it, I like using it with the Echo Box and the Necrophonics.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, if we get the same message out of all
Right.
three, then we're on to something.
I
Yeah,
can't.
that's why I
stand
love
spirit box.
the ink boxes. Just the clarity.
Yeah, it's really it's pretty actually it's pretty similar to the Echo Box because when he was using it up there, we're so used to that, we're hearing for that I was hearing the same things that Katie or Katie. I mean, we were saying, wherever it said something, we were saying the same thing.
Right.
It said this or whatever.
And Travis says down here, Brandon, you caught his attention, in touch with Mother Nature or spirits.
I would say
You already caught his attention. Travis and his wife Tanya were on our show Sunday night, on Family Voices. Travis is the one. Their daughter was murdered.
Yeah. I did. I watched that. Okay. Hi,
Right.
Travis. First of all, let me say deeply sorry. That's as far as I'm going to go with that. But I needed to put that out there.
Yeah, but that's Travis there, Travis Eldridge, and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things going on, but looking at something. Not right
So what I think what Travis is asking, are you in touch with Mother Nature or are you in touch with spirits?
Oh yeah, the simple
Or both.
answer would be both.
There you go.
I have a stronger pull with Mother Nature, but I mean, considering the general consensus is spirits are energy and energy is nature. So, yeah, I would say both.
Good. Now down there in South Carolina, because I know you're a long ways from the rest of the group that's up here. What do you do down there with your shaman part down there?
I do sweat lodges here. It's kind of the routine of it. The people that know me, I let that side out, and the people that don't, I just kind of keep it to myself.
Oh, okay.
And not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just I stay so busy with everything else that if I were to let that out to a lot of people around here, I would just be so drained.
Now, are you associated with an Indian tribe down there?
Yeah, Eastern Band of the Cherokee Nation.
Okay. So do you help them with events and stuff as a shaman?
Yes, I do actually. And I had a malfunction here. Hang on. Oh,
As long as it's not clothing, we're good.
oh no. No, this isn't the Super Bowl. Hello.
So
That's where we do the sweat lodges. And I'm asked to do. I am actually what's called the fire tender for our sweat lodges, which is a huge honor. Basically, I make sure that everything is ready for the heat. I stay next to the fire the entire time from the time it's lit till the time it goes out. I'm in charge of all the hot rocks. So that's basically my what I do with it.
Right.
And I mean, saying it now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's, it's rare that you get asked to be the fire tender and you keep that role until it's time for you to pass it on to the next person. However, I know a guy that's 92 that's a fire tender. So,
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between a shaman and a medicine man?
There's no difference, just the title.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So in other words, you're a medicine man.
Right.
Just with the title of a shaman.
Yep.
See, in my family, the women were medicine women on both the Cherokee side of my family and the Blackfoot side of my family.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of my stuff comes from passed down from generation to generation. The bad part is a lot of the Native American stories got lost because my great grandmother married, on one side of the family, married an Irishman. And when she got killed and none of the neighbors helped, he moved back to Virginia and denounced the Native Americans after that to save his children. They had been on the Trail of Tears. And when they got to Oklahoma, to Tahlequah, it was so bad and she was pregnant, and she stayed, or they stayed until she had her child. And the thing is he went on the Trail of Tears with her. He was able to, ride a horse and take a wagon and all this because he was white. And so because it was his family, they could go with him, but she wanted to go with her family.
Right.
So he took her on the Trail of Tears because she was pregnant and to be with her family. She had a child there. And after that, they left and went a 7 days horse ride outside of Des Moines, Iowa. Where is that? Could be here.
Right.
But she got killed by a pack of wolves when he went to sell his furs in Des Moines. And the neighbors knew that the kids were there with the mother. Nobody checked on him. She got killed pretty much the first day that he was gone. And my great-grandmother had to take care of the baby. She was like 7 years old and had to bury her mother and take care of the baby until he got back, which was almost 14 days. So, and then when he came back, he basically, when he found out that none of the neighbors that were close even checked on them or anything like that, he packed them up and moved them to Virginia. And at that point said, I will never tell anybody that my children are Native American.
Right.
So we found out later on from that great-grandmother that she was Native American, and what had happened.
Your high cheekbones.
Yes, my high cheekbones.
Or
and my dark skin,
Well,
and my blue eyes. My blue eyes just say it all, right?
Right.
But yeah, and so that grandmother, my great-grandmother, she was just always full of stories. She saved me once. I was toddling up the steps and I fell, and she caught me, saved me from falling down the steps. She fell down the steps and broke her hip. When I went there to visit with Lacey, okay, she died in 1972, this grandmother. She died in 1972. I took Lacey there to that same house. Lacey went and started to fall down the steps, and I swear she was picked up and sat down at the house. And luckily, she was only like 3 steps up. But my grandmother saw it. She was right there, and she goes, "Oh, that's unusual." But she was a drunk. I mean, my grandmother was an alcoholic, so she didn't know if she was seeing something because she was drinking. But
right.
my sister Donna also saw it. So that grandmother was still taking care of me and my kids as an adult back in
She needs to go over and take care of it.
89, or actually it was like 1988. So it's amazing. But yeah, she told us a lot of stories about things. And I mean, I realized I was only 7 years old when she died, but it made an impact.
Of course.
So I don't know.
Well,
but
like
the side I didn't know about until recently.
my side of the family, my mom's dad's dad side of the family, one of the women, their grandmother, great grandmother, or whatever, married a Crow Indian chief. So we have Crow Indian. Pawpaw, he was really red complected. We'll put it that way. The Indian side on him was more than on my mom and the rest of us. But yeah, that's how our ancestry goes back into the Indians that I know of.
Hey, April, if you're still listening, on our side of the family, is there any Native American in your family tree? Because April and I share a grandmother.
Okay.
On my dad's side. And so I just kind of wonder if we share any Native American blood there.
Well,
because
if you ever want to get in and trace the roots on the Cherokee side, let me know. I have the number. The tribal council, we use this one place, and they trace like our Cherokee.
Well, that's what Travis down here Travis said his father's side of the family is Cherokee.
Okay.
So, Travis, if you want to know more, contact Brandon.
Yep. And I can give you the number to contact them. I mean, it's not free, obviously, but they've got all the best kept records of the Cherokee Nation. So they're the ones that we go to.
We'd have to shut down Facebook. So we just ignore.
Yeah.
So let's see.
I see you got a troll here.
Yes, I know.
Didn't
I let him
she?
troll for a little bit.
What an idiot.
Well, they've been in there before.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I always wondered that the trolls got they're sitting in their underwear in their parents' basement. Do you have to be in your underwear, or can you wear clothes? Is that optional? Or
I guess it depends on if you got company or not.
Yeah.
Well, in the basement, usually in that dark room, they don't have company.
I mean, they could be chained to the wall. I don't know.
Chained to the wall, and they got a computer.
Yeah.
That's the new way to do it, I guess.
Well.
But that's how we watch the chat room over here, Brandon. When you see stuff like that and you read it, don't read it out loud.
What?
I read the one earlier, and I'm like, okay.
If he gets any more rank, the nice thing about StreamYard, I have the ability to block it. So,
well, everybody has to have a hobby, I guess.
They have to have a voice, but some of them get belligerent in that chat room over there.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, they're bots.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's something else. So how, and I'm sure Denise asked this question, I'm just going to ask it again. How did you get hooked up with Task Force and KD and Katie?
Yes, she did ask that. And
I figured she did.
I'll just give you the abbreviated version. I stalked KD until he let me in his house. Yeah.
Okay.
The whole chain to the wall computer thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's real. That's apparently how he did it.
It's a thing.
So it sounds to me like what is it, Stockholm syndrome?
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's exactly Stockholm syndrome. Yeah.
So, well, like I said, I met Katie in person just back in March, and I went to this paranormal event in Independence, and I just kind of, I told them I was coming and stuff. So when we went, Katie had to stay at the table because they had stuff out there. Mm-hmm. And so I went in to listen to him speak. So I had to keep him on track because apparently that's her job.
It is. It really is.
And since she couldn't be there, I did. I mean, I just jumped in and did it like it's my job all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, he's like, I got to have you at some of these things. So, because, here it is, it's 5 minutes to the end. And, I go like this and he goes, what? And I go, you've got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Now I'm raising my hand, 5, 3, trying to keep him going. And you would think after being on a TV show, he would get the hand movements, because they do that same thing during TV shows, to let them know, hey, we're getting ready to start or we're getting ready to end. And it just made me laugh. But she goes, yep. She goes, it's your job. Just keep him on track. And I said, if I'd have thought about it, I'd have taped it so she could have saw it because she usually critiques him.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes, when I'm up there visiting, it's just fun to just sit back and watch the show. Because you got KD, if he sees a squirrel, he's gone for like an hour.
You see the comment down here with Travis? They used a psychic on Leah's death.
Yeah, it depends on who it is.
It depends on who it was.
Right.
It does. And on deaths, it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't have any signal from that person. And they may, and even though, we always say that as a medium we can hear them, But a psychic is not a medium.
Right.
No.
A psychic, I mean, if it's a psychic medium, it's a different thing. But if it's just a psychic, they can only see what might be in the future. And if somebody's already passed, there's no future.
Exactly.
They can't.
I wonder if Cheryl Ann.
She's a psychic medium.
Yeah, but she does cold cases.
Mhm.
Right.
I wonder if that would help with this one.
It's possible.
Yeah. Travis, I'll talk to you about that on Facebook sometime.
She's a real good one to talk to, and
That's who I'd call.
that would be my first choice.
Right.
Is Cheryl Ann Elliott Fletcher. There's another one. I'll have to remember their name. But I know who I wouldn't tell them to go to.
I do too.
And I'm not going to tell you that on here.
No.
But if you need me to not recommend someone, tell me.
We're probably thinking the same person.
Probably not.
Oh,
Did they investigate the Sally house?
A long time ago.
Okay, we're thinking the same person.
Male?
Yep.
Okay.
Had a dog
Possibly.
that was at the Sally house. The dog was there.
Yep.
Okay. I know who you're talking about.
Yep. I would not recommend him or nothing.
No. Nope, I wouldn't either.
speaking of the Sally house, can you believe there's still Airbnb in that place? Have y'all been in the basement recently?
Not recently. I was the tour guide there for 7 years with him.
Black mold.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, she
It was
brings it.
bad.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why I
Yeah, I
ended
had
up with a collapsed
bronchitis
lung.
like 2 years in a row.
Yeah, well, because while we were out at McIntyre,
When did you go to the McIntyre?
we were out there.
In May?
Yeah.
We were there. We were there on Saturday night. Were you there both nights?
Both nights. Yep.
Then we met you.
Yeah. We said hello.
Yeah, I remember you sitting at the table, and now it all.
Oh yeah,
Hang on, my wife just said, "Do what, babe?"
that's right. You said yeah.
Oh yeah, my wife said that we were sitting across the table from y'all.
Yep.
And so you met my wife too.
Yeah, I would have told people not to go to the Sally house. First of all, because of the bad mold.
It's a joke.
And second of all, because it's not the way that it was back in 2017.
Yep.
It's so totally different than it was. I haven't been back in there since September 30th, 2017.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
there were two investigators that were out there, and they rented the place, and they just
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, they called us, and I'm like, well, I've never been to the Sally house, so we just sort of stopped by so I could check it off the old bucket list of paranormal, but
Mm-hmm.
They were technically not supposed to do that.
I
Just a heads up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
We
don't
walked around the outside.
I was gonna say
It
who
doesn't
cares?
matter. I don't care. Did you witness? Okay, in the backyard.
We brought in people that didn't pay.
Oh, all
Evan
the time.
Tony
Yeah, I almost got fired for that.
a few times.
So in the backyard. Okay, I don't know if you saw Ghost Adventures when I was on there, and I said that I see an Indian in the yard, and everybody got all pissed off at me online. It's like, I'm an Indian. I don't care what you call
Right?
me.
I don't care.
As long as you treat me with respect, I don't care.
Right.
But there's a Native American that I saw in the backyard, and he just stands there like this. He has no feather. Okay. He looks like a sentry, like he is just watching over the area, very serious. And he's almost all the time he was in the backyard.
Yeah, kind of over in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what.
The red house. Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
As you're looking out, if you're on the deck, as you're looking out toward the river, it would be on your right, the right corner. If somebody actually got a really good picture, it's like a wisp.
It was
It's
actually
white.
to the left.
Huh?
It was actually to the left is where I would see it. Just, so from
You
the
said
standing
in that right corner as you're looking out.
as
If
I'm
you're looking out the back of the house, was it to the brick
You got
house?
the picture.
It was by the tree, is where the picture
Yeah, it's over here.
The
Okay.
tree was over here.
I don't know where your tree. You pointed at it.
I pointed at it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Standing on
in
the
that
deck.
corner, and actually Katrina got the same thing, and we didn't even tell her.
It was Rhodey, and Rhodey got the picture.
Yeah, and Rhodey got the picture.
Right, and it was out to the left.
Okay, it was over in the corner, but
like I said,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's been a while since she probably doesn't remember that part.
I just know where I saw it. I could see it from the kitchen window when I would stand there. So we did tours there 7 years. Had so much stuff happen in there that it got to the point to where I just didn't know what was going to happen. You know, was I going to get pushed? Was I going to get scratched? Was something
You always
thrown
got
at me?
scratched.
Was, you know, my necklace one time, this necklace, different chain at the time, somehow, some way got twisted up to where it was choking me.
Huh.
And while I was talking to someone, it happened. Somebody also saw my hair go out when I was talking once.
You've been scratched. You'd had things thrown at you.
Wow.
Yeah. And a lot of it, I think, happened to be, some of it had to be spirits that were pissed at the false stories about that place. You know, some of it had to be, some of it wasn't, some of it was very malevolent, but others, like when I was getting the bruising on my arms, it was like, tell the story, tell the right story, not tell this stupid story that the city wants you to tell. They want them to tell the story of a botched appendectomy, of a doctor that lived there, and all this other crap. And I couldn't find any proof of a botched appendectomy. They didn't keep death records until 1905, and they're saying that this happened in 1905, 1906. And if that was the case, the doctor lived in the house next door, the red house to the north at that time. So if you're going to lie, do it better.
Yeah.
Do it at the right house.
And don't make up stories to sell your Sally coffee, you know, and don't let the mayor just run rampant with your story. And like when Deb and Tony lived there, I don't doubt what they say happened. Only thing I wonder is why there was no true reports of anything being haunted until 1994.
I've raised that same question.
And the thing is all the people that they've interviewed on these other shows did not come out of the woodwork until after Deb and Tony did. So how much of that is factual and how much of that is wishful thinking?
Right. Yeah. And we'll never know.
So is Luke wanting to come in and talk to us?
Yeah, that's what's
Luke,
up.
you want to come up and
Let's hear it.
let's hear. Maybe they can help
Don't
figure
do
it out. Come on up, Luke. Come down the aisle.
I'm going like this because your show is not mine.
Hey, when you got a question like that, because you're new to the paranormal. And
Yeah, I gotta hear
since
this.
you started
Ask
watching
away.
Denise's show,
Yeah,
this show, stuff has happened.
So this one, right, I'm going to try and limit my language because I'm trying to save up my swear words for the end of the week. But this one really scared me, and I struggled sleeping last night. So I went to go see my mother last night, and she lives in a small village just like mine, but further over into the valley. And there's a big coal mine over there. This will come into the story later. It's an open cast coal mine where they open the top of the mountain and they go straight down. And there's this really small, narrow road that goes right across the top, and then there's a left-hand turn where you go down to my mother's village. It's not like mine. You can actually get into the village without having a 4x4. That's great. But I was going down this road, and you don't see anyone across this road at all, right? Never see anyone unless they're in a car. But I'm driving down the road, and then on the left-hand side, there's this woman walking across up the road. And she got something in her hands. And I'm just like, oh, God. So I carry on going. I think to myself, no, I need to stop. So I look behind me, no one's coming. I kick the Land Rover into reverse. I come back up and I stop and I roll down the passenger window. So I'm leaned over. I roll down the passenger window. And I say, I ask her, do you need a lift anywhere or anything like that? You know, it's dangerous to be out here because there's like lorries carrying coal up and down. You know, dump trucks go back and forth. It's dangerous as hell. And she said, yeah, I could use the lift. She gets in. I was like, where do you want to go? So she's going to this town that's further down. You have to go past my mother's village and then go down and around to get to it. I was like, oh, it's fine. I can drop you off down there. So I start driving down there. And she's like, oh, drop me off at the pub. I was like, okay. Because it's like right on the main road. I get down there. I look over and I'm like, okay, we're here. No one there.
Uh-oh.
Oh, crap.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Sounds like Resurrection Mary.
I told my mother about it.
What'd she have in her arms? Just you said
This is
okay.
the end of the story. I told my mother about it, and she didn't know nothing about it. So she told my stepdad about it, and he was like, "You need to speak to my mother." So I went down to my step grandmother's house, and I was speaking to her. 14 years ago, there was a woman who left her house with her baby after an argument with her husband, and she got knocked down by a coal lorry.
So you got a woman in white.
Mm-hmm.
Was she were you holding a conversation while you were driving?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And you turned and looked, and there was nobody there.
No one there at all.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to the world of paranormal.
Yeah, that just broke you in pretty quick.
Yep.
Yeah, I can understand why you had problems
Yeah,
sleeping,
all kinds of mess.
because you're trying to figure out, did I actually pick somebody up, or was I imagining that? Or I picked her up and she wasn't there.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there in the middle of the road, white knuckling the steering wheel, and I'm like, what has just gone on?
Yeah.
And I bet our names came up real quick, didn't they?
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna have to say something. I'm probably wait to the end of the show. Also, Dave, I know your teal, and also it's not sir. Thank you very much.
But yeah, and like
And you
Luke
had
will
no
tell you.
shot, and you had no shots of Penderin at all that night, right?
Not until after you got home.
After maybe.
Sounds like an absinthe night.
Wow.
Well, he owns part of a distillery.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fair.
A very good one.
Bye, Travis.
Okay,
Sorry.
bye, Travis.
And hello, Anthony. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Out there
There's
in Arizona.
Anthony. Yeah. How you doing,
Right.
Anthony?
Luke will tell you, he never really thought about the paranormal a whole bunch until he started watching, when he came to the network and started watching Denise's show and this show and the paranormal stuff like that. Then everything it started happening in his house.
Yes.
Oh,
The real
wow.
trigger point is when I got my daily newspaper, which is how you get the news over here. And there was a tour going on in my old high school. I went to school in a castle. And I thought to myself after I was watching this, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And I blamed Denise and Ron and everyone on this network for the
You're
sheer
welcome.
terror that ensued after that.
He has. Is your lighter downstairs or is it still on your desk?
No, I've still got it here.
Yeah, you're like this one, Brandon.
No,
This one really got him.
So I collect a lot of war memorabilia and things like that, and I should explain a little bit about this house first. And also, I got a little bit more on those graves that we were talking about as well. I
Okay,
did put it
good.
in the chat, but may as well get everyone included.
Oh, that graveyard.
So this house is a church. It used to be a church. It's been a church since the late 1700s, early 1800s. And my great-great-grandfather was a U.S. citizen. Once the railroad started being built in America, his mother moved over there after his dad died in the iron industry. Yeah. When he moved over there, it was round about the age that he was turning 20, World War One kicked off. So he came back to the UK to go over and fight on the Western Front. He went over, come back, didn't want anything to do with it anymore, turned to God, and this was his church.
Okay.
So I ended up buying it. But granted, now it is a church, and it's also sacred ground as well to the old school religion around here. So it's a freaky place sometimes. Now, my war memorabilia, I collect all sorts of things, from creepy gas masks, rifles that don't want to work sometimes because they've been in very heavy combat. But one thing that I've collected over the years is original Zippos from the 40s and 50s. And this one really springs to mind. This one is a original GI Zippo from 1940, and it was taken from France. It was involved in an artillery strike. This is French dirt right here. And I keep it locked up in a case downstairs.
Right.
All 9 yards, glass top, wood sides, case, locked. I'm sitting here one night. These guys are talking away after a show, and I'm looking over here, and I'm like, what's that? Because I got a survey here, and then I got a mini fridge on the bottom, right?
Uh-huh.
And in between, there's about a gap around about that big. So I reach over and look at it, and it's this, which was downstairs locked up in a case.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
Hello, Joshua, and
Hey,
welcome.
Joshua.
You got to put a camera on that case and leave it.
Well, if you did that, then nothing would happen.
Well, okay,
That's just how it goes, right?
That's true.
I know.
Trust me, once I get my collection moved over, you guys are going to have to come and have a look at some of this stuff.
Right. He's getting ready to move to Houston.
He keeps saying that.
I know it.
It's not far from the border.
Have you tested negative yet?
Not yet, no.
I think their test is screwed up.
I do too. They're not wanting you to leave.
Me three.
Just pee on it next time. See what happens. See if
Lorna had COVID and she already tested negative.
Ron's brother's got it right now.
I could stick it in the other end and then smell it.
Well, he has a fit test.
I can smell it. I haven't got COVID. I can definitely smell it. But yeah. As for the graves that I've been talking about for the longest time now, I did find out a few little things.
Okay.
One, the guy who keeps on turning up from the State Department. He comes over every year to sort out those graves. Two, the person who died, or persons, because it's a double grave, same name, he was a US national, but he was not born in the US. And it was in his last will and testament, which he wrote before he went over to the Western Front, that he wanted to be buried here.
Right.
Okay.
I'm still not sure who paid for a Marine Corps headstone. And I'm still not sure on why there's two graves with the same name. There's a couple of working theories, though, because it's around about the time the two dog tags started getting issued. One for the boots, one for the neck.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's my working theory, which is really sad. By the looks of things, he was 19. But as you know, World War One, it was rife for people lying about their age, so he could be even younger.
Yeah, but that still doesn't explain why a U.S. state diplomat or somebody comes over. Now tell him about the vehicle he drives. This will get you, Brandon.
We never got the Cadillac Escalade here in the UK. We never got any Cadillacs. You only ever see Escalades come up on the market when celebrities have visited and they've brought them over. This guy turns up in a black Cadillac Escalade with blacked out windows, which the tint would be illegal in the UK, with US plates on it.
So
Huh.
flown over
Yeah, they're
in
flying
a
it
cargo
in.
jet,
Yeah.
definitely.
Once a year, 1 day a year. The only day it's
Every year.
My theory is on the headstone that it may have come from his family, knowing that that's where he wanted to be buried. Or he had already paid for it prior to when he bought the plot.
He could have.
Well, it was in his will.
That's unusual for 19-year-olds, though.
Yeah. It was in his will that he had to write before he went over there, because this was towards the end of the war. They knew exactly what the casualty rate was over there, that he wanted to be buried here. But I just don't get who paid for a Marine Corps headstone, and it's the only military headstone in that cemetery.
I'd research his family.
Well, send me his name, and I'll get with the Marine Corps Museum and see what we can't track down.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to know what's happened to this.
Right.
Yeah, because this cemetery, he showed his pictures.
Oh, it's cool.
It is cool. And these are on very top of the hill, and there's two of them identical, and that's all that's up there.
That's just that the two headstones. That's just throwing me off.
Yeah.
Same name, same birth year, same death date as well. But here's the thing. As you know, I'm sure you got them in the US as well. You know what a cenotaph is? Where they got like all the names of the soldiers who fell in like World War I and World War II. Yep. There's one of those just down the road.
Huh.
Is his name on it?
No.
And his town has also a list of all American soldiers that went through that town.
And this
and
was
his
not
name is not on it.
So he only came in after death.
So I wonder how he would choose that spot.
Right.
There has to be some family significance or something. I mean, like I said, maybe it's something he researched and he liked in school, some significance with his family, with his past. Who knows?
But he had to be doing something with the United States, because why would a state person go over there 1 day a year, come in, go up, wash the headstones, clean them up, get back in the car, and leave and come back to the United States?
Here's something I've been sitting on for a little bit, though, and I didn't want to put it out there until I got on the show. So I went up there the other day to go and sort out my grandfather's grave and to go sort out a couple of other things up there. And I went up there, and there was something new. There was a piece of gold, right? And there's a certain type of gold that is only found in Wales. And it was a little tiny coin around about that big, right? And it had a imprint on it. And I looked at it, and it looks a lot like a family crest. So I've got a feeling he's still got family who live in this town.
So because I know here they put quarters, pennies, nickels, and dimes on the headstones of people based on how they knew them.
Right.
So maybe it's some tradition that somebody has there.
It is tradition for any person who's died in battle in this culture to have a piece of that gold buried with them. But I've never seen someone put it on top of the grave.
Like I said, it could be the same thing here, though. People, a penny, they didn't know them, but they respected them. A quarter is that they were friends with family.
Now, quarters, they were with them when they died.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I said, there's significance to that. So maybe it's just, hey, I'm just recognizing that this person died and how they died. So.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder why it just showed up now and there hasn't been some in the past.
That, and you're talking about a so-called 19-year-old person.
Yeah.
It'd be more understandable if they were in their late 20s, early 30s.
Right.
You know, that died in the war. This one, if he was 19, or could have been younger, 17, 16, whatever. He fought in the war. He wasn't in the military that long.
No.
Right.
So
I'm thinking maybe he was born there and maybe became an American citizen.
Yeah, that is the case. He is an American national, not an American citizen.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I've looked up the date that he entered the UK compared to the date that he died.
yeah.
There's only a 2-month gap.
Yeah.
Huh.
You need to check to see when he enlisted. That would be in Ancestry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or
Because
I was gonna say give Brandon the name, birthday, that everything
I
you can,
definitely
maybe
will.
see what he can come up with.
Yeah, because I've got all kind of. I mean, the Marine Corps is super small, so we can find out just about anything about anybody that was Marine.
Right.
But he went over there because you got the date that he came into the UK, the date that he shipped out. There's a 2-month gap. He was in the trenches for 2 months before they shipped his body back here.
That is
Yeah,
weird.
I definitely want to dive into that one. That's super interesting. Yeah,
So-
I'll dive into it and I'll let you know what I find out.
So, Brandon, have you ever been attacked, scratched, stuff thrown at you while you was on the investigation?
Oh yeah. I had a rock thrown at me. The tunnel in Pythian.
Mhm.
At Katie and I had a rock thrown at us. We were down
Yeah.
there. I have been scratched here. There's a place in South Carolina. Used to be a tuberculosis hospital. Brief story about that. So they ran out of money. And the 18 mid to like 1890 to 1900 or something.
Wow, that's old.
Oh, well, then they ran out of money, and it was right when the tuberculosis was starting to take effect around here. Well, they didn't know what to do with the people, so they just bricked them into the building and left them. And the city took over the place, destroyed the old hospital, and made it a children's playground.
Wow.
And I went out there and I got scratched doing an investigation. So I have. It's more common than one would think if you've done this for any amount of time.
Yep. It happens all the time.
Well, we've done this for quite a while, and I have 0 scratches, and Denise has. Oh, she got me.
Well,
she got like 100 and something.
He was
to
there.
my 0.
He knows I got scratched at McIntyre.
And Carl, you've only had 1, right?
I've had
Sally House, wasn't it?
I've had 1, 2, 3 scratches and 1 cigarette burn, where it felt like a cigarette went into my arm.
Yeah.
And seconds later, it whelped up as a burn mark.
Huh. That's a new one.
Yeah, that was in an apartment in Hamilton that we were investigating and stuff.
Damn.
And I was in the bedroom filming, and they was watching me on the camera when I went, ouch, it feels like somebody burnt me. I walked out and everything with the phone still in my hand and everything, and showed them right there, and you could see the whelp starting to form. Like
was somebody murdered in that apartment?
No.
Or tortured?
What we found out was her son had been in Iraq, Afghanistan, and places like that. He gave her his shadow box with all the medals and stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On my other computer, I got to get that picture off there and put on here. But in there where I took a picture, you enlarge up on the shadow box, and there's a creature in the bottom corner. I showed him the picture after she passed away, and he came to pick the shadow box up, and I showed him that picture, and he goes, "I've seen that before. That was over there."
Yeah, he had a gin.
I was getting ready to say,
Yeah,
because yeah, I've experienced a gin when I was over there, and I'll tell you one thing right now: I never ever want to run into another one.
Rick Rose told us about a story about something like that happening to him when he was over there.
Yeah.
And part of the reason that he suffered such bad PTSD was related to not only all the shells and stuff that were flying around all the time, but because of some of the things that happened spiritually while he was there.
there's a lot of, you got to
Yes,
look
man.
at what our soldiers went through over there, and they seen the evil of mankind, but they also seen evil in the shadows, in the darkness.
Not to mention the stuff that was sent to them, the curses that were sent their way by the people who hated them.
Yep. It was like it was a mental,
April,
physical,
all of them.
and spiritual like onslaught the entire time.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was rough, but yeah. I mean, I guess part of signing the dotted line. I guess
It is.
And
It
it
is.
sucks that attachment and curses is something that goes along with you trying to make somebody else's life better, along with you possibly losing your life for their freedom.
Yeah.
So, and April, the answer, like I said, is any spirit can project images into the mind, as long as it's not a residual spirit. If it's an intelligent one, it can do anything it wants, just like an alien, and apparently last night, like Bigfoot.
And speaking of Bigfoot, now, Brandon, do you investigate Bigfoots down in South Carolina?
I do not, because they're such a part of our culture that I already know they exist. So, and I just grew up knowing that they're real, so I just never bothered.
Oh, okay.
You think they're real, or aliens put them here, or they go back and forth?
My personal opinion is I think they're interdimensional beings.
Okay. That's kind of what we're thinking anymore.
I know I've had one run-in with a Bigfoot, and I do know that I lost time. There was that horrid, like, nasty chicken smell, is the best way I could put it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I had just an overwhelming sense of pure terror. And it didn't last long, or at least, in my mind. I have no idea.
Well, if you lost time, you wouldn't know exactly how long. Because
right.
There's multiple, according to all my Bigfoot people.
Looks like
they are
ain't no
in
Bigfoots over here.
Different schools of, like he said last night. He goes, there are some people that think that they're apes, and there's some that think that they're spiritual beings, and there's others. My question is should I be scared to go in the woods?
No.
You don't anyway.
And am I going to be Bigfoot food, Bigfoot bride, or just
Bigfoot bitch?
You gonna be Bigfoot mistress?
Bigfoot ignored is what I want to be.
Well, I think the only reason I had that type of experience is I probably startled a young one. I think that because I grew up in the woods around here, and these are some South Carolina and North Carolina, the Appalachian Mountains have some freaky.
Oh
I know.
But
cool,
I've never had an issue, and we call him the hairy man.
Yeah, you said that last night.
Yep. So, it's so ingrained around here that pretty much just about anybody that you ask that live, like the part of South Carolina I live in is up in the mountains, the foothills of the mountains. I'm 30 minutes from North Carolina. So
how far are you from Pickens?
From Pickens? 15 minutes.
Okay, that's where my son-in-law's mother lives.
Okay. I was in Pickens twice today. That's how close it is.
She doesn't know it.
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't know where she's at. But
No.
that's where
Oh, okay.
Joshua's in the woods in Florida. Well, we were just in Florida last week.
so it's always there's so much of the Appalachians that people don't realize are still somewhat unexplored by modern man.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And still you got people in there ginseng hunting against the law, by the way.
And you will get killed if you go in the wrong spot.
Yep. Because the people who own that land, it's theirs. They want that money from that.
Yep.
Then you also have
Believe how
the
expensive that stuff
moonshiners.
is.
Yeah. It is. The
Yeah,
ginseng.
you got a lot of moonshiners up in the hills.
Yep.
Yep.
I know several of them. Unfortunately.
Family members of mine.
Hey,
Yeah.
and up there, you don't want to go in their area.
No, because regardless, just because they make them that, just because Digger and Mark are nice on TV doesn't mean that all of them are going to be nice to you when you come across their still site.
Like even the places that I know and the people that I know, I have to let them know ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
If I plan on coming out there.
Right.
So yeah, this is a rough area.
A lot of people don't realize that. You think of the woods, you think of the animals, and you walk in there. Certain parts of the country, yeah, you got to worry about that, but you got to worry about the two-legged ones up there that's toting guns.
Yep.
Got to watch out for bipeds with guns. And,
Yep.
it is what it is. And just remember, you could be walking into somebody's business area and you don't want to see the business end of their business area.
Exactly.
So,
And I'll tell you something to Google. Do Appalachian little green men.
okay.
We actually have these creatures that live in the caves up here.
Are they like devil's minions too?
They can be either or.
Little green man. Huh?
Sounds like fairies to me, and I ain't messing with that.
And,
He's the fairies over there in
it's leprechauns.
UK.
Leprechauns, get it over with. So
Okay, how tall are these little green men?
Anywhere from 3 to 5 inches.
the ones that I've seen have been about this tall, which is about
That's exactly the size we seen in Sally House on the SLS camera.
Oh, the imps?
In between the furnaces. We had 2 of them.
Yep. They climbed up on top of each other to make one big one.
And,
that was really weird.
Another thing people don't think about anymore is the Irish moved to the Appalachians for a reason.
Yep, because it was very similar to their homeland. That's why my family went there.
What'd they do? Bring the leprechauns with them?
Well, it was so similar in every way that once they got here, we have similar mythological creatures. I believe in them. But
have you ever seen one?
I have. It was not like a dead on, like I'm looking at you, but something corner of the eye kind of thing. But you could tell it was like, really small.
Are they supposed to be like little humans or little creatures?
Creatures
with 2 legs, 2 arms, a head, and
right.
Wow.
Some have wings.
I'm going to think about that next time I go into one of these caves out here.
In Apple Podcasts, there's a Mountain Mysteries, Tales from Appalachia, Little Green Men.
Yep, there you go.
Have you ever wondered where the story The Little Green Men came from?
I thought it came from Mars.
Well, this person says Haley dives into the case from Western Kentucky, which is a little bit different, but Western Kentucky is way different than Eastern Kentucky. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But and I don't know how that they made this Appalachia, because that's not Appalachia.
No, but the same story, probably.
I've heard enough stories from the missus about that place that I wouldn't even go up there with all the tools that I got in my tool belt.
No, he wouldn't.
Let's see if I can get that up there.
What are you trying to show?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. There it is.
That's what they're supposed to look like?
Yep.
That's it.
Okay. Now you got me. Well, we got 10 minutes left. I was going to pull a picture up and share it.
I got a good question. How bought in are you on the conspiracy theory that Teddy Roosevelt started the Park Service to keep an eye on stuff that lives out in the woods?
I buy into it.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I also buy
Well,
into the
it's
theory
said that he ran into one.
I think there. I can't remember where I heard this, but I heard that the Air Force has been in contact with Bigfoot for years. I don't know why specifically the Air Force, but yep. I can't.
They didn't let me in on that one.
It was above your pay grade, I guess.
Probably.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, all of ours. But little green men.
It's very, very interesting.
Sounds like their skin is made of lizards. This one says that they're about 2.5 to 3 feet full grown.
Yeah.
So they do look very similar to the imps that I saw, but the imps that I saw
they
were not green; they were brown.
They were different.
I know what they look
They're
like.
more like small dogs or something, 4-legged.
We need to find somebody that goes out looking for the little green men to be on his show. That's got me really interested.
Well, this guy, they have his name on here. His name's Billy Ray.
Of course it is.
Guy.
Oh, yeah, Billy Ray. That's a common name down in that part of the country.
I'll be right back. Hang on.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, that is just so interesting.
Yeah,
If
looks
you're
like
thinking
what the hell was that?
That picture they showed there, does that look like your little fairies over there?
Oh,
Oh.
this is different. This one here.
Luke said, "I'll take my hitchhikers over that."
Okay, now this one
Disappear.
in Eastern Kentucky is not. It's the little green men that are aliens.
Oh,
Because this
Yeah,
is from
that's what I thought.
1955.
Little green men. That's what I thought they were.
no. I want to find more about the little green men.
I'll find
Look
it.
up little green men in South Carolina.
Let's see.
That's intriguing.
If you think
There
you
you
were
go.
getting me to go up there, you're having a laugh. Like Wendigos, Skinwalkers, Bigfoot, now little green men. No, no.
When Luke gets over here to the United States, we need to take him to Skinwalker Ranch.
We ain't get in there.
Oh no.
Well, how about the ranch next to it? What is it? Frog Pond or
Blind
something?
Frog Ranch.
Yeah.
I like frogs.
This ain't got frogs.
There's no frogs.
This is it's next door to Skinwalker Ranch. That place intrigues me.
Yeah, it's a cool place. There's some weird stuff there.
I always thought Area 51 was cool, but then Skinwalker came into the picture, and I was like, that's
about as
weird
hard to get
stuff.
in as Area 51 anymore.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I
I want
know one thing.
absolutely.
That guy's brother that flies a helicopter
Yeah.
with all that crap going. I ain't flying no helicopter over it. That
I
stuff
want
comes down hard.
absolutely. I want absolutely nothing to do with skinwalkers. Nope.
Is
Nope.
it possible Bigfoot's a skinwalker?
I don't think so.
Like I said, it's as good of a theory as anything.
I mean, it's not a bad theory at all.
Now,
All.
okay, with the Skinwalkers, we know that's a Native American term, pretty much.
Right.
Now, are all the Skinwalkers Native Americans?
We got them here too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, would that
There's-
make them indigenous then? Indigenous to your area.
Supposedly skinwalkers in Georgia too.
Yeah,
And
yeah, they're everywhere.
yeah, everywhere.
Hmm.
We got all sorts of messed up stuff in our mythology, though.
I don't know how I'm going to find this. Yep, that little green man is more related to a alien case in 1955 from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. which is south of Bardstown.
I got one photo here of like a sketch of them, and then it's got like the little alien ones. One kind of looks like a fish as well, and there's one that looks like an owl.
Could be the Mothman.
Don't get me
Possibly.
started on Mothman.
Well, like I said last night, you know, there is a bat-like man supposedly in Humansville, Missouri.
Yep.
It was on TV. That doesn't make it true, but you know,
Hey, we had Momo. We had Momo the Bigfoot north of St. Louis.
Yep, Louisiana, Missouri.
Went through town and flipped cars over.
We have a guy we met was there. Met him at McPike.
We have a sighting of Bigfoot that's 3 miles away from here.
I have a sighting of I don't know what
Hey,
the hell running down the
somebody-
road.
Casted footprints.
Somebody sighted one 3 miles from you.
Yeah. They had them. They had BFR up here, and they casted footprints
When was that?
up there. Huh?
When?
2017.
Oh, okay.
Or no, 2019.
Well,
You can
know
go
what?
to BFR and put in Missouri.
Right.
Look at Davies County.
Right. You said
It's
you
on there.
shared that on the show when I had Carter on.
Right.
And Carter knows this area very well, Missouri and Kansas, because that's where he investigates. And I think, you know, if anybody's really interested in that, go back and listen to the show with Carter Bouchard. Listen to last night's show. Tell me what you think about Bigfoot. I'd like to know.
Right.
And yes, I have been making jokes about Bigfoot since 1972. Okay, it's not new to me to say aliens and Bigfoot are related. I mean, I've been saying it since 1972, and now it's a common theory. You know,
I just
I don't know
got one big question about Bigfoot.
what? How does
You
it?
think they make good eating?
Do they make any-
We don't know. You can't.
I don't want to find out.
I do.
You know what? Think about it. If it is a primate, do you think that ape meat would be tough?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
probably.
that's going saying, hey, that he is a primate.
If
If
you
he's
want
a
to find out, Luke, when you get over here, you go to Oklahoma. There is a hunting season for
You know,
Bigfoot.
if,
down
you
there.
know if I can
There's
bag
guys with
one,
rifles that go out hunting Bigfoot.
you know if I can bag one, will you cook it?
You probably have to do it low and slow though, because you know,
Right.
tenderize.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to bury it in the
Right.
ground and do it like a hog roast.
Exactly.
Okay, we got a couple of minutes. So, Brandon, tell everybody where they can find you at.
So I will be starting a new podcast on this network Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. It will be called Shaman Sundays. It's
8
just going to
p.m.
be.
Central.
Is it Central? So 9 o'clock Eastern.
Yes,
See this time zone thing. I don't know. It's weird.
I know.
Okay,
You think
so
yours is bad?
okay, yeah, true.
Yeah. Yeah. You think it's bad?
So I think it'll be a fun show. I'll have some guests on from time to time, and and if you ever wanted to ask a shaman a question, tune in, ask away.
And they can find you on Facebook.
I haven't set up a Facebook page yet, but
No,
you
they
can find me.
you at Brandon Cooper on Facebook. if
Oh
they
yeah.
Contact you,
Yep. You can find me, Brandon Cooper, with a
and
picture.
you can find him also a lot of times over on Supernatural Inc.'s Facebook page.
I'm generally on there a lot, so if you have a question, just send a DM. I answer most of them. So
Right.
yeah, you can find me on the Supernatural Inc. site, the Supernatural Inc. all three of our sites on Facebook. I am on. So
Right.
I'm around. Also, I have an email set up, shamansundays@gmail.com. If you want to go ahead and send some questions in for the first show, which is going to be kind of just a meet and greet and just a free form for the first show.
Right. Okay, Denise, tell everybody where they can find you.
Right here. I'm always right here. No. You can find me on every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central, right here on the Bill of Rights Network, the Paranormal Pride page. YouTube, subscribe and like, please, and make sure that you do, because sometimes I set up the show and don't do any promotion. So make sure you do that. So check us out, and then check out all the other shows here on the Bill of Rights Network. We look forward to hearing from you. And if you have any ideas that you'd like me to cover on the paranormal, please send me a message through Facebook, and I will
Little green people now.
see what I can
That's a
find.
new one.
Yeah. And Luke, tell everybody where they can find you at.
Oh, I'm always around here, like underneath the show. But if you
On
wanna,
everybody's
see
show.
if you want to see my face, I'm here on Thursdays at 7 p.m. CST for non-binary. It's my tech talk show, and then I'm also usually on Born TV after 9 and 9 p.m. 9:20 p.m. CST on Mondays, and also on the new show Sticky Fingers on Sundays at 2 p.m. CST.
And that's a model show, people,
Yeah.
where they put models together.
We'd hate for you to be showing people how to shoplift.
Yeah.
Sticky
Well,
fingers.
actually, on that show, they showed why they called it that name, because Rex glued his finger to one of the parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
shopping.
this is why we call it the show Sticky Fingers.
We've all done that.
So, but yeah, folks, stay tuned to the Bill of Rights Network, Things Network, Phoenix. What's that?
Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, the Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment page, where we're live on this show with. So I want you to check out all their shows, Things Networks, the Bill of Rights Network, and I want to thank Brandon for being on the show tonight. Denise and Ron, always thank you guys, and Luke for joining us. So everybody, we will see you next week here on Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal. Have a good evening.
Good night,